How's it going, you guys? So this year Nike has completely redone the Pegasus 37 from top to bottom. After running about 70 miles in this guy doing various types of runs, I'm ready to bring you my full review. So first, let's start with the upper. The midfoot lockdown on this shoe is solid. It uses bands similar to the Zoom Fly 3 and the Zoom Rival that really help hug your midfoot and keep it locked in place. The mesh wasn't super stretchy, but it was stretchy enough. This was the same with the breathability. It wasn't the most breathable shoe, but my feet never overheated either. So overall, it was a solid and comfortable mesh. So usually I'm a fan of Achilles fins, and I have many shoes from different brands and they all work great. I thought this looked like the Pegasus Turbo heel and was excited, but don't be fooled. This is not the same. It's a bit shorter and a lot harder than the fin on the Pegasus Turbo. I found this to occasionally put pressure on my heel and cause some pain on my Achilles tendon. So not only did it bother my Achilles occasionally, but it also causes my heel to slip, like a lot. Luckily, with the runner's loop lacing, I was able to prevent the slipping, but by doing so, the shoe is so tight around my ankle that I feel like I'm having my circulation cut off. Alright, I'll be done with my rant there. I may have been really hard on this upper, but there are honestly a lot of things about this shoe that I do like. Speaking of which, let's talk about the midsole. With the full React midsole and 4-foot Air Zoom units, the Pegasus 37 felt a lot more cushioned than its predecessors. After a handful of runs, I found there to be a bit extra bounce from the React, and it was less firm than the older models, making it feel like a more cushioned shoe overall. With the new midsole also came more durability. The React midsole helps prevent these shoes from getting packed down super quickly. Durability is definitely something that you need in an everyday workhorse. Even though my pair has a little less than 100 miles on them right now, they definitely feel like they have a few hundred more to go. Again, the React midsole helps make this shoe feel a lot different. That and the large Zoom Air unit provide a nice responsive toe off. It is a firm responsiveness though. It's not that bounce that you'd find in ZoomX or Power Run PB. But I liked this for my normal everyday training where I wasn't necessarily picking up the pace. So during my first impressions video, I talked about how the ride wasn't the smoothest and felt pretty firm. Luckily, when I hit around the 40-mile mark or so, this ride started to soften up. I feel like most shoes nowadays haven't really had a break-in period, so that was definitely a con for this guy. Now let's move on to the outsole. I was surprised with how aggressive the tread on the Pegasus 37 was. Compared to the previous Pegasus models and most road shoes, the outsole provides a lot more grip on both road and some light trails. You'll be able to have some good traction, making this a very versatile shoe. With about 70 miles on these guys, the tread is holding up very well. Since the lugs were more aggressive to start with, the wear that they do have on them isn't too noticeable, and there is still plenty of miles left to go. Earlier prototypes did show an outsole that closely resembled the Zoom Fly 3 and Vaporfly Next%. I'm assuming they didn't end up choosing this design because it would have sacrificed on durability. The large amount of rubber on this outsole isn't the only thing that makes this guy heavy, but it definitely contributes quite a bit to the weight. Since they are an everyday trainer, I would rather have more rubber on the outsole than save weight, but still. Alright, now that we've gone through some pros and cons, let's get to the race type stoplight review. First up is speed day, and I'm giving the Pegasus 37 a yellow light. If you're on a budget or only want one pair of shoes, the Pegasus 37 could be used as a speed day shoe. It's definitely responsive enough, but there are plenty of other lighter options out there that I would rather choose from. As for an everyday trainer, this guy definitely gets a green light. I've mentioned it many times in this view already, but the Pegasus 37 is built to be a great everyday trainer. The secure midfoot wrap, the nice cushioning, and the outsole coverage really help make this shoe a great choice for logging your normal daily miles. Long runs, get a green light. Your foot will stay comfortable in these no matter the distance. The upper will keep your foot locked in really nicely, and this shoe can handle any number of miles. I think most people will be really happy with it. Next up is Recovery Run. I'm giving the Pegasus 37 a yellow light. This one's a little bit subjective. Again, if this is your only pair of shoes, it could definitely be used for your recovery runs, but I personally like something a little more plush. While my go-to is typically the Hoka Clifton, you could use the Infinity React or React Miler as a good option if you wanted to stay in the Nike brand. Alright, so while I may have had some personal issues with this shoe with the heel slipping and that Achilles fin, it is a great everyday trainer. And I think it'll work for most people. It has a nice secure upper, super cushioned, a nice and responsive midsole, and a super grippy and durable outsole. This is definitely Nike's workhorse, and it's a pretty reasonable price considering Nike's prices nowadays. So thanks for watching this full review, you guys. That is it for this video. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos, and as always, keep on running.